Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Heart to Heart with Coach Abby. That's me. I'm also the founder of Be Love, Give Love. All right. This is going to be my signature thing. We turn the hat on backwards. And so you can see my eyes mainly, but I tend to wear it backwards quite a bit anyway. So I invite you to come on in, and just stay a while. Stay a while. Here's the thing. If you don't agree with everything that I say, that's okay. I'm not going to get offended at all. It's okay. You don't have to agree with me. But I just ask that you hang out a little bit, take the nuggets, and leave the rest. You'll hear me say that every live. Take the nuggets that stand out, that speak directly to your heart, and that resonate and just hit differently. And then just leave the rest. Leave the rest. You don't have to agree with everything. You can just glean from a few things and leave the rest. All I'm going to do here is just share deeply from my heart in hopes that your heart will be blessed and touched in some way to know that there is a different way to live. Okay, guys. So I wanted to title this, It's Time for a Timeout. Right? It's time for a timeout. So when you discipline a child and you put them in timeout, what is the purpose of that timeout? Or if, like in a basketball game, when we called timeout, when the coach called timeout, what was the purpose for that? Generally, the kid is acting out, saying things, bad behavior, just something that you do not think is kind. And so we sit them in a timeout. The basketball team may be all just out of sorts, tired, weary, running plays that the coach didn't even call, just all out of sorts, chaos. And so we have a timeout to have a huddle. So come on in, Coach Abby and the world, whomever is listening. We're on YouTube, Instagram, and several pages or a couple pages, and I'll share it on Facebook. And for all you podcast listeners, I'm sorry they changed the platform, and for whatever reason, I cannot record a podcast. So I just found that out right before I did this, but hey, we just roll with it. We just flow with it. So we're coming in. We're going to have a huddle. I think we all would agree. We all need to sit in a timeout. So when we come in for a huddle on the basketball team, the coach gives us this pep talk. Maybe he speaks the truth and love to us. Maybe he just lets us get a drink of water and towel off our face and just kind of catch our breath. And then we go back out into the game. We're in a game of life. That's kind of how I word it. And God has given me the love and the desire and the passion to coach people. Like, I've been doing this since 2005. My whole life, actually. I was the one that always loved to counsel people, encourage people, inspire people. That's just who I am. And of course, I'm certified and I have a degree and, all those things. But I love to coach people and just really dive deep into those things in their heart that keep them from walking in peace, because there is a different way to live. And so we need to sit in a timeout. When you have your kids and you sit them in a timeout, what is the thing that they have to do before they get out of timeout? Generally, it's change their attitude, straighten up, say they're sorry, or maybe the parent goes in and say, okay, why did I put you in timeout? And makes them become very aware of their behaviors, their words, their whatever the reason why you said, hey, you need to go, sit in timeout and calm down. Why don't you do the same for yourself? Why do we make our kids sit in a timeout, but yet we as adults can act out, say unkind things, lash out at each other, do whatever we think, but we don't hold ourselves to that same standard that we expect our kids to be held to? So I always, even to this day, I've been growing and learning and evolving as a person, so more light and love can flow out of me. The goal is to get people to be love and give love, but I have to sit myself in a timeout because I'm human, and those emotions will come up, and I don't want to respond from that place of an emotional state, because generally when I do that, it is not good. It is not light. It is not love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and goodness and faithfulness and gentleness and self control, all the fruits of the Spirit. It's not good. And so I don't want to be that kind of person that's spewing out all of these things. Out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. And whatever's in your heart is going to come out. So, was telling my family, my team, my Be Love, Give Love team, I said, I need a whistle. I mean, I wanted to blow the whistle and say, just blow the whistle and say, okay, guys, time out. Everyone to their houses, to their corners of the room, to someplace outside, wherever. Let's just pause for a second, take a time out, and let's look inward. Let's think about what we're doing. I'd love to go around and just blow whistles at people and just be like, in love, and just be like, hey, did you know there's a different way to live? You don't have to act like that. You don't have to be that way. You don't have to, you know, be unkind and spew out things and respond that way to people on social media or whatever. You don't have to do that. There's a different way to live. And if we're honest, we want that different way. We want peace. We want joy. We want to be self-control. We want patience. We want that from other people, but yet we don't do that. Kind of like our kids. We want them to be kind and helpful and considerate and patient and say, beautiful words, but yet we can go out and act like a fool and lash out at each other and say unkind things and justify it. Well, I'm the adult. Well, I feel like, my way is the only way. And you don't say that, but inwardly you think that. And there's so if I could just put the world in timeout, if God gave me that ability, goodness, I would. And just sit everyone down and whisper in your ear saying, hey, it doesn't have to be this way. There's a different way to live. But guess what? You're going to have to do some work. One of my favorite passages that just, as a coach, and honestly, guys, my own journey, I'm not a coach that's just went and got a few certifications and, got a degree and helped some people. I've went through this transformation. I've written a couple books all about my story. I went through this. That's what I feel qualifies me the most to help people, is because I've been in the pit. I've been the one lashing out. I've been the one acting like a fool and, not humbling myself and being prideful in my own thoughts and reasonings and just being unkind and having poor motives and not having any patience. I've been that person. So I'm not just someone say, do as I say, but I go and live my life. Ask anyone that knows me in an intimate way that does life with me. I am the same person here as a coach as I am at home in front of my family. And this is who I am. And I didn't get this way just by wishing, hoping. I did the work. And that's the thing that I lose people a lot as a coach, is they don't want to do the work. And I always tell people, you got two choices. Doing life the way you are doing right now, I guarantee, if you could say, is hard. You're not happy, you're not peaceful, things are going awry in your marriage and your parenting dynamic, in your own soul and your mind. It's not good. It's chaotic and there's no peace. There's just this heaviness and this darkness and this just anxiety and worry and depression and fear and just all of this apathy, whatever the case may be. And that life is hard and it's painful, right? And then there's this other path that you can take that will lead to freedom. That's why I like to say I'm a breakthrough coach, because breakthrough will happen. There's this other path that will lead to freedom, but it's hard too. It's hard too. It requires, one of the things is putting everyone in timeout. It will require you to do exactly what you asked your kids to do. Now, think about why I put you in timeout, honey. Well, I want you to think about right now, take inventory of what you've been thinking, what you've been speaking, and your behavior towards other people. Let's just be honest. Let's just be raw and real. This is how you heal. is first you got to surrender yourself and go, okay, I might be doing it wrong. There might be a different way to live. That requires deep humility to humble yourself and go, I might not have it all worked out. I might be responding from an emotional place, from a wound, from my past, from whatever. I might not be very kind and patient and all of that stuff. So let me sit myself down in the timeout and let me humble myself and let me look inward and go, okay, what is flowing out of me? Right there, you will know what's in your heart. Are you a kind person? Are you patient? Are you one to take offense real quick and be defensive and lash out? There's a lot of that going on right now. Are you a person to be patient and kind, or are you one to just be critical and judgmental and no patience and just lashing out and have something unkind to say about everyone and like a them versus us kind of thing? What are you thinking? Maybe you're not speaking stuff, but you sit in this paralyzed state and you're just rolling things over in your head and just dark things, whether it's anxiety and fear and worry and unforgiveness and bitterness and frustration and just what is it? Because as a man thinks in his heart, as we think in our heart, so we become. And out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. So it's going to come out some way, somehow. It's going to come out. And so we could just sit and look inward and go, okay, let me be aware of what is flowing out of me and hold myself accountable, just like you would hold your kid accountable. Hey, now you got to straighten up. You demand and you expect better behavior, or guess what? They have to go back in timeout or some other form of punishment because you're trying to mold and shape something in them, a character in them that will produce a fruit of patience and kindness and compassion and whatever it is. God's doing that in us too. Again, if you're not a believer, I'm a follower of love. I'm a follower of Jesus. But if that doesn't resonate with your heart, that is okay. I'm sure if you think about this from whatever perspective you want, you would see that this is truth. God is love. And love is powerful. I believe, and I say it like this, my husband's like, I don't know if that really works. I believe love is our greatest weapon. I will march for all the good stuff. I will not be divided against anyone or anything. Mother Teresa said when she was invited to march against the war, and she said, I can't say I'm saying exactly how she said it, but the gist of it was, I will not march against anything. But when you have a march for peace, I'll be there. That's my heart. I'm not going to march against anything or anyone because when I'm against it, I'm against you. I'm against you. And my belief is that we are all made in God's image and that I am called to love everyone. Everyone. Love your neighbor. God is love. He asks us to love him with everything. That means that surrendered heart, that deep surrendered heart, he can touch everything. So that sitting in that timeout is like, you can have your way in me. Whatever's in me that's not of you, touch that part in me. I don't want to be this way. These are prayers I've prayed. This is deep, deep prayers where you're just like, it's not about me. It's about what I'm reflecting. Is there light and love flowing out of you? What is flowing out of you? What is it? Sit in that time out and be honest with yourself. What am I saying? How am I responding? How am I to my kids, to my spouse, to my coworkers, to my boss, to the people on the road, to the Democrats, to the Republicans, to the trans people, to the gay people, to the Black people, to the white people? I mean, whatever group you want to say, how am I responding to them? I know. You'd be like, but they this, but this and that, and my belief is this and that. I get it. That can get really, really noisy. And I just don't respond to any of that. I don't even get involved in it. Because our great, we know this quote, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Hate cannot drive out hate. I'm not going to feed into that. I'm not going to feed that hate and that bitterness and that unforgiveness and that offense and that darkness and all of that. Ugh. There's so much of that going on. Time out. There is a different way to live. I plead with you. Just listen to this and take it to that place of stillness. Sit in the timeout and say, is there a different way to live? Light can only drive out darkness. That's why Mother Teresa said she would march for peace. And that's why it's all about be love, give love, which we are all about spreading the love and lighting up the world. I will always be for that. So no matter who you are, what you're involved in, what your political party is, what your race is, what your sexual orientation, I don't care. I don't care. I love you because you are made in the image of God. And I'm called to love you with everything in me. And if I can't, and I talked about this in the last video a little bit, if I can't love you, and if I'm constantly spewing out these things towards a person or a political party or a group or my parents or my kids or whatever, whomever it is, am I what is that? That's in my heart. That has something to do with me. Anyone can love anyone that's just like them. Anyone can do that. That takes nothing. Anyone can do that. But God is wanting to know how you love people who are nothing like you. Nothing like you. Don't act like you. Don't vote like you. Don't believe like you. Don't dress like you. Don't look like you. Aren't from the same background. Don't parent like you. They're completely different in every way. How do you love someone like that? That's when you know you have the heart of God, of love, when you can love everyone. And man, I'm telling you guys, there is freedom, deep freedom when you learn to love everyone. But you cannot do that until you sit yourself in a timeout and go, okay, let's look inward. That passage I was telling you about, and I got on a squirrel, I guess. I just flow with it. Jesus himself is saying, why do you focus on the speck in someone else's eyes when you have a plank in your own eye, when you have, some translations say, that dust in someone else's eye, when you have a log? One translation says a telephone pole in your own eye. Why? I mean, doesn't that seem crazy? Like, here I am. I mean, this is a little bitty vlog, but here I am. I got this stuck in my eye, but yet I'm pointing my finger at you and telling you all the ways your life is messed up, and you need to be doing this, and you need to be doing that, and all that. And I mean, that's foolish. That's hypocritical. We want our kids to act a certain way, but yet we won't. There's that telephone pole in your eye. We want to be treated fairly, but we don't treat other people fairly. Well, there's that telephone pole. We want people to love us and accept us, but yet we don't love and accept other people. Well, there's that telephone pole. Why do you think Jesus said, first, sit down? I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but pretty much he said, sit down and let's focus on what's in your eye first. So then you can see clearly to take the speck out of someone else's eye. So as a coach, yes, I do take the speck out of people's eye. I bring their awareness to it, and that's done in a very loving, kind, compassionate, meet you right where you're at, help you, guide you, lead you, to show you there's a different way to live. I don't condemn you. I don't judge you. I don't make you feel less than. I don't accuse you. I don't shame you. I don't guilt you, because if we're honest, does that work on you? Does that make you change? Didn't me back in the day. I had all those people telling me all the ways I was messing up, telling me all the ways I was doing life wrong, and tell me I just needed this and this and that, and just preaching at me, throwing Jesus in my face, all this stuff. And it didn't do anything but push me further and further and further back. But it wasn't until someone showed me a true light, the light. Remember, darkness can't drive out darkness. So you spewing out all this stuff, right? You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. That's not going to do a darn thing. You're just actually feeding into the divide, the hate, all of it. How about sitting time out and saying, maybe there's a different way? And I understand maybe you don't even know there's a different way. A lot of it is just blinder. We're just on autopilot. This is how we were raised. This is how we were programmed. That's all I know to do. And we don't even know we're being prideful and have our ego so puffed up. We don't know that. We don't even know until we know. Until you sit down and you start looking inward and go, really, are my words kind? Are they the fruits of the spirit? Are they loving? Are they patient? Are they kind? Are they gentle? Are they full of self-control? Okay. If they're not, and that's the fruit of the spirit, then what are you the fruit of? What are you the fruit of? There's a different way to live. And I want to help you. I want to help everyone. Um, God's given me the ability to have all these tools and services, and I want you to experience breakthrough. If you want this life, which I'm sure you do, it's going to take work. But remember, this path leads to freedom. Both paths are hard. But wouldn't it be amazing if you guys hear Shy in the background? I'm at Be Love, Give Love, and he is having a ball. He is laughing and doing his thing. And it's a high ceiling, so it's very echoey. So if you hear this like laughter in the background, that's Shia, my son, which you follow me on Facebook, you've seen him. But there's a different way to live. I have lots of tools. Of course, I'm not here trying to sell you a darn thing. You can purchase, you can partake of it. It's here. It's all this stuff's here. You can partake of it if you want, if you're ready. If this pricked on your heart at all and you're like, yeah, if I really sit in timeout and really start evaluating, taking inventory, what's flowing out of me, yeah, I need some work. Okay, that's the matters of the heart. And that's what I'm all about is tapping into those heart issues that keep you from living a life of peace, that keep you from loving other people. What is it that's in your heart? What are you tangled up in? What is the thought pattern or the lie that you're believing or this abuse or this trauma or whatever? And I'm not a counselor, I'm not a psychiatrist, all that. I'm a coach and I ask you these good questions and I speak life into you, I speak truth into you. I share my own experience in hopes that you will be inspired to do life differently. And I have lots of tools. I have my books, Living Still, no, Living Still and Still Living Still. It's my first book. This is what I call my foundation. This is what got me out of the pit of hell that I was living in. My second book is Still Living Still. It is 11 years of trial after trial after trial after trial. You talk about hard pressed on every side, but not crushed. This was God doing a deeper work in my heart to be able to be steady and stable in the storm. So this reads more like a movie. It's like there's pictures in it of my family and it's like a journal. This is more of a workbook where I ask you those hard questions. So people are like, which one should I read first? I don't care. Whichever one God leads on your heart to read. But if you read this one and you're like, wow, I want that life, I want to be steady and stable, then you have to get this book because this upholds it. This is the foundation that upholds it. Okay, well, for whatever reason, I just lost signal for a second. Okay, I think I'm still with you. My screen went blank. Okay, so these are the books. So we have that. I also have the Breakthrough podcast. It's pre-recorded. There's 76 episodes, and it's $30 a month. There, if you go to my website, belovegivelove.com, and you go to the service tab, you'll see all this stuff. We have, you can get sessions with me. I do phone sessions, so you don't have to live locally, and I do in-person sessions. So if you want to come here in Lillington, if you're local, then we can do that. So I have the books, I have a meditation CD, all these tools, and we'll have these lives as well. All these tools so you can experience breakthrough, because that's what I want for you. Because there's a different way to live, my friends. There is a different way to live. You don't have to do life this way. You can love everyone. You can be peaceful. You can be self-controlled. You can have patience. Is it going to take some time and effort? Yes. But if your heart comes fully surrendered, saying, God, whatever is in me that's not of you, whatever's in me, help me get this plank out of my eye, this telephone out of my eye. Help me to look inward first. And then, be a light to everyone else, not accusing and pointing. Remember, that didn't work. I'm sure no one's yelled you into a breakthrough. It sure hasn't worked for me and hasn't worked for anybody else back in the day when I did that, that didn't work. But the breakthrough that does happen is when someone climbs up right beside you, loves you right where you're at, meets you right where you're at, and lets you just be who you are. And then, as God leads, speak the truth in love. Offer offer something. There's a reason why people are the way that they are. And so I get curious. I just sit back and I watch people. No offense, no judgment. Doesn't mean that what they're doing is right. I'm not telling you that what they're doing is right. I'm not saying that at all. But if God says we're supposed to love everyone, and he even goes as far to say love your enemy, that's mind-boggling. But you can't love people who are different than you. You can't love your neighbor who drives you crazy. It's just it's a deep heart work, and you can't do this on your own strength. You just can't. Once you do that deep work, you go sit and you be still, and maybe you have me coaching you along the way, and you start saying, God, what's in me? And expose those things that are not of you. Even if you're not a believer, like what's in me that's not love, that's not kind, that's not good? What am I speaking on my own response, my flesh? Just if we just sit in that timeout and evaluate, lots can change. Yeah, the change starts within you. And I believe with everything in me, y'all, if we would really just step back and disconnect from this world, I mean, take a 24-hour pause from the media, from social media, from just the noise of it all. You can't even hear clearly because you constantly have this tornadic of darkness, divide, hate, bitterness, frustration, everyone offended, blah. No wonder. When you're in that tornadic, you can't hear anything clearly. You just hear just noise. And you can't be still, think clearly. Huh. Okay. Well, I don't have to get involved in that. Stillness is powerful. That's why my books are living still and still living still. When everything within you is calm, peaceful, and still, you're like, whatever. Yes, it's possible. I'm telling you, there's a different way to do life. I'm going to get a whistle and I'm going to go around and just blow it. Not loudly, because that wouldn't be very be love, get love, but I just want to blow it and be like, did you know there's a different way to live? And if I had a whistle right now, I'd blow it and tell you, time out. There's a different way to live. You guys stay close to be love, give love. The warmth of love and light, of God's love and light, is so radically captivating and contagious. And this has nothing to do with me. I'm just the person he put in charge of be love, give love. I'm the person he spoke those words to. Be love, give love. When I asked him what was it all about? In 2009, when the words were spoken, these weren't something I come, oh, be love, give love. It's so cute and friendly and blah, blah, blah. And some people would think, it's so weak because our flesh wants to, we just want to do that. But when it's bridled by the Spirit, it's totally different ballgame. Totally different ballgame. But I asked God, what is it all about? I was just in deep anguish and just confused. And what's this and what's that and all that? Well, what's just all of it? Just so much noise. And I heard so clearly in my spirit that still small voice say, it is just about love. We make it so complicated. Really, we do. When the greatest commandment is to love him, he's saying it's just about love. Love me with everything, that surrendered heart. I just want my whole heart to be full of your love. Just touch every part in me. And so more of your love and light can flow out. And that way, then you can love neighbors, all your neighbors. Then you can love your enemy. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. And it takes work. But I believe if you have that deep surrendered heart, it can be accelerated. I have seen it recently, and the person I've been coaching, accelerated growth, just powerful in the pit of crazy, crazy, crazy darkness, wanting to end her life. And yet she's free because she said, I'm going to surrender it all. And I'm going to ask God in my still place, and I'll sit my butt in timeout, and I'm going to have that love and light start penetrating my heart, and I'm going to do the work. I'm going to look inward, and I know there's a different way to live. And she is completely night and day different. There's a different way to live. So I invite you to stay close. Get on belovegivelove.com. Get the books, get the podcast, do a session, stay close to these videos, whatever you want to do. Even if it's not me, go somewhere else. Go somewhere else and get it. But stay close to love and light. If there's all that noise and you feel it in your heart, and you're frustrated, and then all of a sudden your conversations are frustrated and irritable, and you're just offended and defensive and all that, you might want to sit in time out. I guarantee you guys will remember Coach Abby saying, maybe I need to put my butt in time out and rethink my attitude. And maybe I need to sit here till I calm down. And then if you do that, then you move with love and light in your heart. That's the be love, give love way. But we first have to look inward. There will be a radical change in this world if people would look inward and start dealing with the matters of their heart. And I'm here to help you every step of the way. So reach out if you need me. Get the books, get the services, products, whatever. And, we've got a lot to offer. I have a lot to offer to you, and I just want you free, really. I just want everyone free from all that stuff that keeps you from having love and light flow out of you. Okay, so that's our heart to heart for today. I wanted to let you know that we do have a full product line, Be Love, Give Love. There's something about it, so I have one of my shirts on. You'll always see me in the shirt and the hat and whatever. And stickers on my water bottles and stuff. I have been told that when you put this Be Love, Give Love, people will say, man, I got this on my water bottle, and it convicts me, man. It makes me come up higher. It gives me that reminder I need to be love and give love. Maybe it will remind you to sit your butt in time out. Same with the shirt. Like I will tell people, don't get that shirt if you can't represent. You need to represent well. At least try to be love and give love. I don't want you out there acting like a fool and being mean to everyone, and you have be love, give love on. That's not what it's all about. So we do have a full product line. A large percent of our profits do go back out to help people in need. So when you buy, we give, and you can purchase that online. We have a full online store, and if you feel led to donate at any time to the cause of Be Love, Give Love, we welcome that. At the end of this, you'll see a tab or a screen that says all the ways that you can give. And I hope that you show up next Wednesday at noon. I'll be here every Wednesday at noon, God willing, to just pour life and love and inspiration and encouragement to tell you, man, hey, there's a different way to live. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you're a little convicted too. Not condemned. I'm not here to condemn you. I'm just here to say, hey, there's a different way to live. Come on now. Go sit your butt in time out. Have some time with God and say, hey, I want to do life differently. And then watch out and reach out to me if you need some help. All right. Love you guys. Bye-bye.